Well, our guesses about the night inlet drawing us in and it being hard to get out of it were right. The face of defeat.
We're on our way north. On board our Cape George cutter 36 is my husband Aladino and myself, Maya. After a 5-year complete refit to our boat, we are finally out sailing, about to explore one of the most wild and beautiful coastlines on Earth. Join us for the Northern Voyage. We are floating between some of British Columbia's tallest mountains, deep inland, where the water is the color of glacial runoff. It's hard to believe, but we're still connected to the ocean via the long serpentine channel of Knight Inlet. Last week, we sailed about 100 kilometers into the inlet, nearly to the end, and found an anchorage at the mouth of the Sim River. And now it's time to lift anchor and sail to the very end of this channel, where the rivers pour their cold, fresh water into the inlet. And then the much larger and more difficult part of this journey will begin, which is sailing out. The persistent inflows, which helped carry us quickly into the mountains, will now attempt to pin us here. It'll be a long upwind beat to get out, and it will test both ourselves and the boat.
All of this is showing valuable lessons.
That is, if we're able to get out at all.
The anchor appears seriously stuck. Hopefully it's just really dug into the mud.
We're anchored here, near the very end of the inlet. It's pretty remote, so we can't just call for assistance. Although in times like these, we're extra glad to be sailing alongside our friends Allison and James. It's always good to know that at least we've got some extra hands should we need help, but we hoped we wouldn't need it.
I tied it off, and now we're going to try under power to free it, going into deeper water. So let's give that a try.
There is a lot of logging detritus that's evident on the shoreline, and we might be snagged on something. Okay, so I'm gonna steer us out. We'll try and pull it up from the other direction.
Go slower.
Oh, Okay, I don't know, you can't really see that, but I just
keep
felt
going.
the whole bow dive.
Go, but steady and slow.
Okay.
Okay, a little more.
More?
Yeah. Now it's coming tight. Keep going.
The whole bow is diving down.
Yeah. And more throttle. Try to go this way if you can. Okay, and I'm going to try to get it up again. So far better. I think we might be free. Do you remember the anchor we saw once with the bent shank?
Yeah.
Hope not. That was quite a bit of force. It might have been really well dug into. It was really, the swell was pushing us against
I think that was logging debris.
You think?
It just
Yeah,
hit
there's
like a
so
hard
much
dead
here.
end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, maybe it was just dug in mud.
Maybe it was just really dug in.
Jeez.
What a good anchor.
Such a good anchor. Too good for the windlass, jeez.
Our triceratops skull. It kept digging in, because that's a bit the theory. Also, when you do a stern tie, you don't rely as much on scope. So we just did a 2-to-1, a little bit more, but since you're always under tension with the stern line, it just, everything that tugs at it, like the swell that was pushing us, keeps digging the anchor in. So it sure dug in.
Yep.
Well, good, we have some freeing techniques. Well done.
When anchoring in places that could foul your anchor, you can attach a buoy on a line to the anchor itself. This way, if the anchor is stuck, you can use the line to pull at it from different angles until the anchor is freed. In the worst case scenario, if you have to let go of your chain, at least your anchor is still marked with a buoy for retrieval later. In this situation, a trip line may have been helpful, but repositioning the boat and pulling the anchor off the ledge with the engine achieved a similar result.
Amazing. Yeah, sounds good. You want to pass me that? Yeah. Okay, Maya.
Glad to be unstuck, we picked up our friends Allison and James. The plan was to sail to the end of the inlet together, then bring them back to their boat for the journey out. Compared to the glacial blue water from midway down the inlet, here, so near the rivers, the water was a very muddy brown. After the epic journey all the way down Night Inlet, we felt obliged to go the final step to the very end of the inlet. But to be honest, it really wasn't the thing that we were most looking forward to. The end of the inlet was never the point of this journey. And in fact, the actual end of the inlet turned out to be fairly anticlimactic.
My turn next.
Oh, you're gonna fall in the water.
Equipment from a logging camp sat on shore. Nearly this entire coast has been logged, and the industry is still very active, cutting second or third growth trees. We have made it to the head of Knight's Inlet, and it is obviously stunning and gorgeous. And I do wish we could enjoy it a little more, but the sun has come out and the wind has not yet picked up, and the horseflies have found us, and I am actually losing my mind. So
Stay high, Billy, stay high.
Nice. And hopefully we'll have some beautiful images of this very special estuary, but unfortunately I think we gotta get the heck out of here because It is getting intolerable. We actually haven't experienced horseflies anywhere else on the coast yet, so this was a really rude awakening. We could not get out of there soon enough. It was driving us mad. We're under sail and finally the flies have calmed down. That was hard to manage. I'm really glad that we saw the termination of Night Inlet. I think it would have been anticlimactic to miss that. And just the massive river estuary with such a huge and wild river emptying out into this inlet. It's really special.
Yeah, the Kleene is big and humbling, and wow, the views of Mount Waddington, the tallest peak of BC. How epic.
Yeah. Now we're sailing upwind out of here. I think the situation with the flies means that we don't really want to go spend more time at anchor today, so we might try to start beating out of the inlet. As the day continues and the inflow intensifies, I think that wind is going to get stronger and stronger. So we might return to the beach that we were at beforehand. It's about 10 nautical miles up the way, and hopefully we'll be able to get there beating up wind. That's the goal. We dropped James and Allison off on their boat and then immediately set back out, keen to get some distance between us and the source of those flies. The inflow wasn't too bad yet, and we figured we could just beat into it.
Well, our guesses about the Night Inlet drawing us in and it being hard to get out of it were right. It is more tempting at this point to turn around, go back to the mouth of the river, go up the Kleene and hike Mount Waddington. But here we are. We're testing out the third reef in the main and heavily reefed head sails, and we're clawing our way upwind ever so slightly. This will take a while, but the views are epic.
But the wind built quickly. It accelerated around corners, danced off cliff faces, and seemed to pin us against the mountains. We only had 10 nautical miles to go, but it seemed nearly impossible. What little upwind progress we made against the strong winds was immediately erased by the strength of the currents.
Time to tack and see how much progress we make on this tack.
Probably not a lot.
Oh boy. All of this is showing valuable lessons. Now I do finally have the backstays, the running backstays somewhat put together with the hardware, but the attachment points are still way too far forward, so I can't really get enough leverage. So that means we can't fully deploy the stay sail, which would be the sail for these conditions. because it sheets in much tighter inboard, so you can really have take advantage of the tightest tacking angles and go higher upwind. Instead, we have it reefed because we do see the mast flexing, and I just don't want to risk it. So instead, we're having a bit of the Yankee out and a bit of the staysail to balance them. And the Yankee, especially when reefed, is not the best sail for upwind work because the shrouds just go straight up from the tow rail from the widest point of the boat. But yeah, we have a bit of a running backstay, and soon we'll bring him somewhere aft. Yeah, very excited though. We had the staysail out fully earlier when the wind was less strong, and it's a beautiful sail. Look at us go. Nowhere, slowly, at great expense. The face of defeat. No. We weren't making a lot of headway, and it was getting even narrower and even spicier. So we tucked in here. This is just the rock behind of where we were tacking like crazy, and look at it. It's so calm because these mountains are so tall. So if you're in the funnel, it funnels like crazy, but if you're in the lee, then of course it protects, and it's like, really? I think the wind died down. Let's try again. But we can still see the white caps just around the corner. So we'll wait for a bit. Usually it dies down. Okay, here we go. We weren't patient. Trying again. The wind hasn't really died down, but like I said, the issues that we found of not being able to go very high upwind, and that means you're also heeled over more and you get knocked down with the gusts, means we're trying a different approach. We are motor sailing. We got the third reef in the main. And so I just go over as much for it to pick up some wind, and then the speed picks up. We're not doing crazy RPMs, but yeah, like this we actually managed to do 5-6 knots in a very much closer direction to where we want to actually go. We also did find that around the bends it's where it's most aggressive and blows harder. So yeah, that was spicy, but now here it's not too bad. Honestly, yeah, it's just good to get to know your boat in all conditions. I'm really curious to meet somebody along the way with a knot meter who can tell us the wind speeds. Waves are not that much, but the wind is howling.
Today we had a fairly spicy journey upwind. I mean, we really brought that on ourselves. We absolutely did not have to leave then. But I think we just felt like testing ourselves and testing the boat a little bit. Just seeing what the inlet could throw at us. But right now, this evening, we just had a beautiful dinner that Aladino made, watching the sunset on these mountains. And I think I feel like very, happily depleted. Like all of my energy, like I've just been going full on the past few days as we have journeyed down into Night Inlet, and everything has been so new and so incredible and huge. And I've been going crazy with the camera and just like brain firing on all cylinders as I try to film everything and capture the experience of being here. And now the way out, it sort of just feels like we are journeying past old friends, places that we know, and now it's just about really actually relaxing into where we are. We were hoping for a dead calm morning. We left at 4 a.m., but already the inflow was working against us. We motored until Glendale. The mountains, monochrome in the gray morning, seemed somehow more threatening than before. Allison and James had stayed behind, and we were alone now with the mountains, working our way out against the winds that we knew would only grow as the day ticked on. At Glendale, we were met with the final stretch, the long, straight exit of the inlet. The wind had grown, so we decided to sail this part, beating back and forth between the rock walls. The boat found a perfect balance. With a reefed main, a full staysail, and a reefed jib, she could steer herself. We didn't even attach the autopilot. She held course perfectly. All we had to do was tack. We were eager to get out of the inlet now, to feel released from the clutches of the wind. We zigzagged. The exhilaration of speed was deceptive, as our actual progress up the inlet was painfully slow. But just as we were finally about to emerge, victorious from the battle, there was a good omen, a finishing salute from the inlet. We just concluded our trip from Knight's Inlet. I feel like that trip took so much energy, in a really good way, but it's like, you know, at every moment we were just stunned and in awe and trying to capture it and trying to make the most of it. And you're just constantly like there and present and just awestruck by everything around you. And then you've got, you know, the weather things that the inlet can throw at you and all of that. So now we are just in Port McNeill, which is a small town on Vancouver Island, and we're just recouping a little bit. We're resting, we're reprovisioning. There was a lot that we kind of had to take stock off. It had been about a month since we had gotten rid of garbage on the boat, and it's actually been really hard to find places to get rid of garbage. So Port McNeill actually has dumpsters, and you know, like, he did this whole dance. He was so excited to just see like a dumpster that we can use. It's funny. It's the little things. Bye bye.
Oh, the joys of a sailor.
Yeah, it's definitely the little things that are bringing us joy here in Port McNeill. There's also a really well-stocked grocery store, and there's like a brewery and a place you can get a burger, just like all these things that we haven't had. We didn't film this, but we had a guy come top up our refrigerant because it seems to have developed a slight leak. Couldn't really find the leak, so that's, fingers crossed it doesn't leak out again, but we'll keep monitoring it. What else? Yeah, just been doing some work, walking, doing a bunch of walking. Like when we were in Night, we basically didn't leave the boat really at all. I think the only time we left the boat was to go and do that little beach fire, and that was it. We were on our boats the whole time. So it feels really good to stretch the legs and just, yeah. Port McNeill, the epicenter of civilization for us right now. From Night Inlet to Port McNeill is quite a contrast. And it's funny how different places can offer you such different things. Night Inlet fed the soul, but taxed the body. Port McNeill has all the creature comforts you could need, but, well, anyway, my soul will be fine too. We've just got to catch our breath, process everything that just happened, and not to mention process the mountains of footage. Over a week spent in Night Inlet, I took 1,600 individual video clips. Only a fraction of that has even made it into these episodes. Right now, you're watching the end of the Night Inlet trilogy. But for us, at that time in Port McNeill, the process of actually turning the whole pile of footage into these episodes was only just beginning. So I took a while organizing the footage and trying to figure out how to tell the story of this inlet that I feel was so transformative, so beautiful, and just such a complete voyage in and of itself. Although it's taking place in the greater context of, you know, us moving north, I really feel like Night Inlet was its own distinct chapter. It was so stark and beautiful and individual, and yeah, there's a lot to say about it. And actually next week we are going to take a sort of a break from our regular video style, and we're going to actually step back, take stock, and do some FAQs sort of about the journey, about the videos, and about the boat. I also have a really brief announcement. Some of you might already know that I just recently started a new channel where I upload kind of ASMR style videos from our sailing adventures. So it's just kind of long form, nice sounds to put on in the background. The channel is called Sounds of Sailing, and I just uploaded a new video there, which is 40 minutes of the boat at anchor in a big rainstorm. It's a nice peaceful vibe, so if you would like to spend an evening on our boat as the rain and winds howl outside, I will put a link to that in the description as well. is just a nice kind of stress relief in the evening, and they're very fun and meditative for me to make. Okay, I think that's all. I think this is where this episode and the trilogy of Night Inlet ends. We will see you, as always, next Friday. A huge thank you to the folks whose names are now appearing on screen for going above and beyond to make sure that Magic Carpet keeps being produced. A really, really big thank you to all of our patrons for making these episodes possible. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. If you would like to sign up for as little as $2 a month, it's completely up to you how you decide to sign up to Patreon. We are eternally grateful, and in return, we post real-time updates to Patreon every week, so you get to know what's going on with the voyage in real time. Some of the stuff that we're facing as we make decisions in the moment. So that's all on Patreon. We are really, again, grateful for that. And as always, we'll see you on YouTube next Friday. Bye for now.